Hi there, my name is Star Penn. I am your leaky gut coach, and I am the creator and founder of the JIA Blueprint, helping moms to reverse juvenile arthritis and uveitis and other autoimmune and neurological and behavioral issues with their children. So today, what I want to talk to you guys about is whether or not a recent fall is what caused or triggered your child's juvenile arthritis. Not all the time, but many times when a parent first finds out that their child has JIA, it's because there was some sort of fall, a bike, a trampoline, gymnastics, a sport, and then the body part swells, which is considered normal, but then it never goes back to normal. And then when they go to the doctor, it's determined rather quickly that it is in fact JIA. Now, before I get into this, please take the time to subscribe to my channel. And also, if you know anybody who has a child with juvenile arthritis, uveitis, or any other neurological or autoimmune or behavioral condition, share this video with them because a lot of my content is going to be extremely beneficial to them. So this is when we find out, right? We go to the doctor after some sort of swelling that just won't seem to go down. First, they'll prescribe some naproxen and send you home. And then when you come back, maybe about the second or third time, through a series of just testing and checking on things, it's determined that it's arthritis. And many moms want to know, parents want to know, did this trigger it? How did it trigger it? Why did my kid falling, which kids fall, why do they now have arthritis? So I just wanted to get into that with you today and share what is really going on in the body and why this happened. And it is my hope that an understanding of this, what's going on deeper levels in your child's body, will help to dispel some of the confusion that goes along with your child being diagnosed with this, because it is my firm belief that with knowledge is power. And when you're powerful, you're going to make the best decisions possible, and you're going to really, truly advocate for your child and make decisions to really turn things around. Whereas when we're scared, sometimes we let other people make decisions for us. So let's talk about what's going on in the body. So this is really epidemic at this point. This condition that you've probably heard of, it's probably become a buzzword for you at this point, and it's called a leaky gut. I know if that kind of, sometimes when a condition or something becomes mainstream, it becomes trendy, and on the one hand, it's good because more people have the opportunity to learn about this particular thing. But it's a double-edged sword, because on the other hand, it could water down the truth about this information because it just becomes a buzzword. And I will talk about different segments of this in more detail in other videos, but just for the sake of this video and really how the fall seem to trigger the JIA, I'm just going to focus on that. So I'm going to give a very basic explanation of what is going on in the body, and then you can check out other videos of mine to get a deeper understanding. Okay, so in your child's body and in ours as well, because we can only pass on to our children what we ourselves have. So in our child's body from a very young age, possibly even from birth, their intestinal microbiome has gotten off balance for one reason or another. And when it becomes off balance, the more pathogenic bacteria that is intended to reside in our intestines, but when it becomes prolific, it can erode at the good bacteria around the gut lining and start to create permeable little holes inside the gut. So what happens, it's really an amazing phenomenon what happens, and it just shows how our body is set up in such a way to protect and heal us. And hopefully that gives you some confidence to know that. So what happens is that small microscopic particles are now able to make it through that intestinal lining and out into the bloodstream, things that do not belong in the bloodstream, right? The blood needs to be sacred and clean. So when food particles, microscopic food particles make their way out into the blood, fecal matter can make its way out to the blood, and even pathogens themselves can get through these microscopic permeable junctions in the gut lining and get into the bloodstream. So obviously what would happen, because we have an immune system, is the immune system is going to see an invader and it is going to go after, right, these invaders and attack it. But this is the beautiful thing that happens, and how wonderful our body is made, is we all have fatty tissue in our body. The fattiest parts for most children are going to be their joints and tissues. They're going to have some fatty tissue here around their eyes, and their whole brain is basically all fat, right? So that, just that right there, we got joints, we have eyes, we have brain. So think about that, make that connection, because if you think about a lot of the conditions that our children are facing in this time, in this modern era, where these conditions are residing. Okay, another fatty area in a child's body would be their organs, some of their organs. So, you contrast that with those of us who maybe have just the same poor condition of a gut as our children do, but we have a lot more fatty areas, right, for these toxins to go. So the beautiful thing is that our body is designed in such a way that the fatty tissue in our body attracts toxins to itself to get these toxins out of the radar of the immune system. And then what the body innately knows to do is to excrete these toxins through the skin, through the lungs, through the liver in a gradual way. And so that most of us, when we breathe in environmental toxins or get pesticide, from our food or wherever it is, most of us never even know that this system is taking place, and we never develop any kind of disease. But with our children, number one, they have way less fatty areas for the most part for these toxins to go. So they build up in the joints, they can build up in the eye, they can build up in the brain, they can build up in the organs. They don't have, a big, belly fat usually, or, around their midsection to grab these toxins. So they get loaded up there. You'd have to check out another video of mine about the liver and how the body detoxes and how important it is for there to be a functioning liver. And unfortunately, with our children that have JIA and any really autoimmune or neurological disorder, their livers have become extremely sluggish because they are trying to get rid of the joints and the tissue, and the fatty parts are doing their thing and gradually getting rid of these toxins. And this is just so much overload and work for our children's liver. Again, that is something for another video, but for now, I want to explain what's happening in your child's body and why the fall brought on this juvenile arthritis. So what's happening is the arthritis isn't just limited to the part of their body where they fell and where the arthritis happened, whether it be shoulder, knee, hip, elbow. The body is indiscriminate. This process that's going on in the body with toxins leaking out of the bloodstream, and the fatty parts, the connective tissue, these areas with lots of collagen naturally magnetize and pull these toxins in. That's happening throughout your child's entire body. I know that sounds a little scary, but when we understand this, when we understand a handful of things, it's actually less scary because we know what's going on. We're not up against this overactive renegade immune system that doesn't know what it's doing. No, that's not what's happening. We have a very active, very healthy, intact immune system that is doing its job to detect invaders in the body. So what happens is our child who has all these toxins all throughout their body, and their beautiful body is absorbing them and keeping them from the immune system, hiding them from the immune system, so there's no inflammatory reaction, there's no reaction whatsoever. You have a seemingly perfectly healthy, vibrant child. Their body is doing its job. Then there's a fall, right? And this area has some damage, something goes on with this fall that the immune system, just like any other time, needs to go and repair. It needs to go repair the damage. It's not thinking about JIA. It's not thinking about toxins in the joint. It's just being alerted, hey, there was a fall. We need to repair. We need to rebuild. We need to rejuvenate. This is what we do. And so the immune system goes to that area where the fall happened and starts to clean out the toxins and do its work. It's doing its good work, just like your immune system would if it detected a virus and you had a fever, and okay, the body's working, right? So we expect that. But what happens is once the immune system gets in there, a lot like sometimes if you have a builder who, you call them to fix a problem behind your wall or something, and when they open the walls, they're like, whoa, this is so much worse than what you thought. We got mold, we got this, we got to tear all this down. So that's what's happening. The immune system is going there for one job. Oh, we got a sprain. We need to go there. We need to start to rebuild that body part. But when it gets there, it's like, whoa, there's all these toxins here. And so when we're seeing that inflammation, which we tend to demonize, what is happening in the body is that the immune system is cleaning out the toxins from inside the joint. It's going in there. It's, keep with the analogy, the visual of, the construction worker or the contractor, going in there. It's a mess, right? Once they have to tear it all down, and that's what the immune system is doing. It is just tearing it all down, and it's the damage is so deep, it's deeper than they thought. And so this inflammation never goes away. Now, while it's doing that, causing all this inflammation, which is a good work, it's cleaning all these toxins out of the joint and sending it out. But remember that sluggish liver that we talked about? Well, the liver can't handle it. The liver can't process all these toxins. So these toxins that it's cleaning out just keep on going through the body, and they find another area to reset, or they come back to the original area because there's less toxins there. That they're looking around for somewhere to go. Well, we're full, and goes back. And so it becomes this never-ending cycle of an inflammation, which, yes, will cause some serious damage if left unaddressed. But that's what's happening. So it wasn't that the fall triggered the JIA necessarily or caused the JIA, because JIA is really, we call it a disease, but it's really a symptom of something much deeper. So when our child falls and their immune system goes to repair that area of their body, they find all the toxins that have been building up in that body part probably for your child's entire life, if not the vast majority of it. And make no mistake, these toxins are equally distributed everywhere. So that understanding hopefully helps you to see, like, okay, well, maybe this one strategy may not be the only strategy, and maybe we can think of other ways to go about handling the situation, just like you might want to do with a contractor, right? You might want to get another opinion and see if, do we really need to demolish the whole house? Or is there a way to rebuild with the structure that we have and renovate what we have going on and really restore what we love. So that's what I'm proposing, that there is a way, and if we go back to the beginning, of dealing with the very root of the issue. Because remember, the root problem is that toxins are coming out of the gut lining and into the bloodstream. So even if we stopped the immune system, even if, we brought down the inflammation, if we don't deal with the ever-flowing outpouring of toxins coming into our child's body, this is something that's going to continue to manifest in their life in multiple ways for the rest of their life. But the very much more simple, and I say simple, not easy, but the much more simple approach is to go down to the root level and think about, where is this originating from? Let me deal with that first. Again, with the illustration, if it was a busted pipe in a bathroom, we would want to, and that busted pipe being the intestinal lining, right? That's leaking. We would need to, and we would know that the best thing to do would be to first seal that off, repair that first, because we can't do any of this other work if we got water flying everywhere. And so the same is true with our children's bodies. We need to deal with the first thing first, and then the next thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing. So I hope that this information was beneficial to you. I know this by no means covers every aspect and the information that you're looking for. And I definitely hope that you subscribe to my channel, like it, please give it a thumbs up. Please share it with whoever that you know that might benefit from this information and information like this, because once we know what is really at the root of our child's JIA, we are more equipped to battle it and to win. Have a good one.